Well, a hard-fought victory, an exciting game for the fans because there are not too many missed shots in the second half. I mean, it's hard to believe. You know, I looked at their stat sheet, and they're 18 of 26 from the field, and they scored 41 points in the second half. Then I look at us, and we're 16 of 23 from the field and 14 of 15 from the line, and we played the game with only 5 turnovers. So if you liked offense, I think you saw a lot of efficiency or bad defense, depending on how you feel. But, you know, Alonzo Trier is one of the best games that he's played at Arizona. I think when you look at the points that he scored, 23, not one turnover. They trapped him on every pick and roll that he utilized, and he was very, very efficient. 8 for 13 from the floor, 2 for 6 from 3, 5 for 5 from the line. And but he was an All-American type of player. And a lot of other guys contributed. And, you know, I think the other player for me to really point out is Dusan. 7 for 8 from the floor. Made a couple good defensive plays. And it's just great to see somebody like him that has paid the price over a 4-year period of time get this here in the prime of his senior year and play like he's playing. He's really a very efficient, talented player, and has worked to become that, as everybody in here knows. So thrilled with the win. There's always things that we'll learn from it, but we had a great crowd, and Zona Zoo was awesome. And, you know, it's Pac-12 basketball right now coming down the home stretch.
What about Colorado style gives you guys more fits than I think any other team in the conference?
Yes and no. I mean, we haven't played everybody yet, and, you know, I mean, think about this. We went 34 for 37 against Oregon to win a pretty hard-fought game. You look tonight, we went 22 of 23 to win a hard-fought game. We're not that much better than, you know, a lot of the teams in our conference, but we've been able to make some timely plays and finish games at Stanford, Oregon at home. And, you know, for us, it's up to us to continue to grow so that we keep getting better. You know, I'm not going to ignore that Raleigh didn't play. We are a much better team with Raleigh than without him. But as all coaches and teams have to go through, foul trouble, illness, injuries, how you do when it happens is everything. And, you know, tonight for us to be able to win without him was a big, big deal. And I do think that he'll return here sooner rather than later.
Spin move there on the baseline.
It was good. He has a lot of confidence. You know, confidence is big in sports, but you don't wave a magic wand as a coach and give a kid confidence. They have to earn it, and their process has a lot to do with whether they're able to get there. Dusan's really gotten there. He has gained confidence, and deservedly so. Practices extremely hard, never cuts a corner. And as you guys know, he's equally adept around the basket, left hand, right hand. And keep this in mind, with DeAndre, teams are trapping, a lot of times playing him at the biggest defender that they have. Dusan has sometimes the secondary defender. And but he's taking advantage of it, and it's one of the reasons our offense is good right now is we can go to either guy in the post.
I guess nobody will be hacking DeAndre to put him on the line.
You know, there's a lot of things that separate DeAndre from a lot of big guys that he's compared to. He is an excellent free throw shooter, and he has unbelievable agility away from the basket. He had strep throat this week, missed a couple days of practice. You know, he got on the medicine and really started to feel better yesterday and today. But, you know, watching him out there, he did the best he could, but I don't know if he was at full go. I think on Saturday he'll return to form.
Some of the game going up for hoops, maybe he would have gotten a little stronger if he felt a little better.
Yeah, 4 for 10. You know, he usually shoots a higher percentage than that, but he also is 12 for 12. And I think the one thing you see with what I said about his illness is he didn't get an offensive rebound in 37 minutes, and that's unlike him.
Does Trier respond to your coaching now any differently than he did as a younger player?
He probably does. We have a really good relationship. I'll let him say great or not. He probably, maybe he won't say that. But, you know, Alonzo and I have been together for a long time. I was his coach in the under-19 in Greece. I was his assistant coach under-18 team. And, you know, he's in his 3rd year, and you know, he's gone through a lot himself. But With me and him, I know where his bar is. I know what he wants. And I think for him to be an NBA guard, which he certainly headed that direction, all the things that he does well, that's a given. We try to talk to him a lot about the things that he can get better at. And a great example is he played this game tonight with 3 assists and no turnovers, and they trapped him on every pick and roll that he used the entire game. 3 assists, no turnovers, and the efficiency that he had on offense, that's another step for him. And then defensively, just being aware, not getting backdoored, not giving up a shot. He had one of the best defensive plays of the game. I think he closed out on Dominic Collier, and he tried to drive him, stayed in front of him, might have blocked the shot, but it was a timely stop. But that's what we expect of him, and I think that's what he expects of himself. So believe me, he needs a coach to push him, and I've been willing to do that.
We've been able to analyze it all, maybe why there's nights where, he'll get to the line and get some calls, whereas tonight it seemed like he got beat up a few times but doesn't get a call.
Who?
Freer.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's they have a hard job. I thought, DeAndre going to the line 12 times tonight was right. There's a lot of contact, and, if I were playing against him, I would try to be physical as well. But that's something we talk a lot about. The more the ball gets inside to both Dusan and him, the more fouls happen, right? You get more offensive rebounds. It's the analogy of the running game in college football. Might not work in the first quarter, but all of a sudden, midway through that second half, you see the toll that it takes. Getting the ball close to the basket for our team does that. And that's why these zones are trying to prevent that from happening. And to our best attempt, we have to allow it to happen regardless of any defense that they try to play on us. That's our strength.
Was it just getting comfortable that the statistics so different, the two halves in terms of shooting? I think you guys started 3 of 15 and 70%.
Yeah, every team has a personality. We're not the same team without Raleigh. I think we all looked out there in the first 8 or 10 minutes, and he gives you second shots. He gives you a bigger guy, somebody who's a creator for others, and a confidence. You play the game a certain way for how many games in a row. All of a sudden, one of your starters isn't there. That doesn't mean that Dylan Smith didn't do a really good job. I mean, you look at him; he had 13 points tonight, and he was 4 for 8 from the floor. 3 for 6 from 3. In the Cal game, he was 4 for 4 from 3. So as Raleigh has left 2 games, Dylan has really filled in and done a nice job. And I thought he did a good job tonight.
Parker only hit one shot, but that shot he hit was a big one. Just your thoughts on that?
We were really out of sorts there. Part of what I said to him after that shot is, number one, get open to get the ball, recognize the shot clock, get us into some offense. We almost didn't do anything right. And, sometimes the ball still goes in. That's happened against us as well. But both him and Alonzo, I thought, had tough, really challenged shots at the end. And the fact they both went in helped us win.
Is it only so? These guys are young, but reporters and media that makes an revenge game what it is, or was there really more to this game than just another one?
We're in the middle of our Pac-12 season. You're playing Colorado and Utah at home. We respect both programs greatly, and we've had some tough games with those 2 programs. So tonight's the first of 2, and Utah will come in here on Saturday, and it's a big game for them. I mean, being able to win on the road against our team, our RPI, with what they're trying to accomplish, that's how you get to the tournament. So for us, we have to be ready to go. We're going to take that other team's best shot. They're going to game plan against us. We've been doing that for a while, and I think our players have to be able to adjust to that. That's a couple of things that hurt us early this season. Getting ready to play a team that's ranked in the top 5, it's a big game, and the effort and the concentration have to be there. I think we've grown in that area, and I think we still have a little bit of ways to go.
How much can you say about how you're going to manage Raleigh's situation from here on out?
Well, it's foot soreness. He doesn't have a stress reaction. He doesn't have a further break. He doesn't have anything else going on. All of that's been ruled out. And with rest, complete shutdown, he experiences a lot more comfort. So we've only shut him down for a couple days last week. If you watched him in the Stanford game, You wouldn't have known anything was wrong. And it wasn't like he couldn't walk the next day. He just had a little bit more soreness. So when you have more soreness on a foot like his that's been surgically repaired, you have to take note and do the necessary things to protect him. So that's what we did this week. So he played against Stanford on Saturday. Today's Thursday. He's done nothing. And I think if you talk to him, he's gone from maybe a pain threshold, if you pressed on it, level 6, 5, to maybe 1 or 0. Prior to the Cal game, he was at a level 0. It wasn't aching him. It was a single incident or maybe one time in a practice leading up to that game that he just felt different. So it's up to him to communicate, which he did. And believe me, he wants to be out there. But it's in his best interest and our team's best interest to manage this the right way. I don't have a vote. It's up to the doctor, Justin, in Raleigh. And when all three of those guys agree that it's safe for him to return, then we'll play him. And if there's a minute restriction, we'll do that as well. But tomorrow is another day. He might play against Utah. He might not. But if he does play, it will be because he has a 0 pain threshold, no number.
Did he complain of pain in the days after Stanford, or when did you know you needed to shut him down this week as well? Or how that?
In a couple of days after Stanford.
But he didn't practice at all this week, nothing. I mean, is this something you anticipate we're going to have to kind of look at the rest of the way here? You know, maybe, who knows, maybe late February?
I don't know.
Yeah.
30 years since the pass, you say, but the dunk. What does that moment mean to you right now, and what do you think about that?
I mean, it's starting to, for the first time, you know, in my lifetime, make you feel old. You know, they did a big deal on the 25th year anniversary, and it's hard for me to believe 5 years have gone by since then. But for me, it means that I've been on 30 consecutive college basketball teams, player, assistant, head coach. So I guess that counts for something. And but that was a big moment, magical moment. You know, I love my college teammates like anyone that's played at this level, and you know, it keeps us alive. You know, as we get fat, old, no one believes who you played. We have tremendous credibility that at one time we were out there playing. So it's like Matt Muehlbach. When Dusan passes him here in the next couple of weeks and he tries to petition for that extra win like he did the last time, we're not going to let him get away with it this time. You know, for those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, Caleb, I thought, beat the record, won the most games ever at Arizona. 10 days went by, and next thing you know, it was a tie. I don't know how that happened. So I'm worried for Dusan. We don't know how many games he actually has to win to break the record, but we're prepared to go above and beyond what Muehlbach has. So it's records like that guys like him and I hold on to, right? So that's what that means.
Sean, Dusan was so good tonight. When are you going to move him to the point guard position?
You know, that's that deal where you watch one dribble, you watch 3, you watch 5, and then you just say, he better make sure that he hands the ball off, right? But Dusan has a lot of confidence, and on a serious note, you guys have watched a lot of players play at Arizona. Very few have come as far on the spectrum of who he was when he got here and who he is today. And it's great to see a kid like him have that type of confidence. You know, seniors are a throwback in college basketball. You know, we have 3, but especially Parker and Dusan, they've played their heart and soul for us. And it's great to see both guys be at the forefront of what we're doing right now.
I may have missed what you said earlier, I apologize, but did DeAndre actually miss any time, or he was just down?
No, he missed really like a day and a half. Yeah. But he's full go. He's 100%. But, you know, it's like anybody. You miss practice, you have strep throat. You don't, I don't think, feel completely 100%. My hope is that next couple of days he will.